What is up everyone? Today we'll be taking a look at one of the most solid cores for the Open Great League, Alolan Ninetales and Swampert. This duo is almost unbreakable in the Open Great League meta. Ninetales deals very well with the likes of Trevenant, Walrein, Fighters and Dark types, which Swampert generally struggles against. And Ninetales struggles very hard versus Nidoqueen, Steel types and Fire types, which Swampert can deal with perfectly. Put any solid safe switch in the middle between these two and you've got a good team. Today I'll be running Sableye in the middle because it is one of the most busted safe switches in this meta, but you could also consider running something like Lickitung, but in that case I would highly recommend going Swampert lead. I'm also going with Shadow Swampert just because I prefer it, but regular works very fine as well and is even better in some situations. Notice how I said almost unbreakable duo, since there are answers that destroy both of them. And one of them you see in the lead in this first battle. Venusaur is a big problem, as is Registeel, as is Ferrothorn. Those are the main three. But they are not unbeatable, and besides that, they are not that common. Venusaur has kind of gotten pushed out of the meta ever since Walrein and Trevenant appeared, so I wouldn't be too worried about them if you run this core, since you're only gonna run into them like once, maybe twice a day at max. Anyway, let's get into this first match. How do you deal with Venusaur lead? Obviously, you don't want to switch out just yet, because getting Swampert onto Venusaur when it's still full health later in the game would be absolutely devastating. So staying with Alolan Ninetales, these charms will really start chunking even though they're resisted. Gonna throw a Weather Ball here as well to take a shield from the Venu. And at this point, I kind of want to save my Alolan Ninetales, so I end up switching out into Sableye here. Often Venusaur comes with Dark types in the back, so that's why I want to save my Charmer. And I have now chipped it into a range where I can feint it with a Hydro Cannon later, which is quite important. So it's not even that big of a threat to my Swampert anymore. In comes Azumarill, which is really bad for Sableye, of course, but I do get off the huge return, which does quite a bit of damage. Unfortunately, don't get off the foul play anymore, which is very unfortunate. At this point, I can bring in my Alolan Ninetales, though. Unfortunately, I don't really have a hard wall to Azu here, but both Swampert and Alolan Ninetales do very fine. And even Sableye, as you could see, can do a bunch of damage there. They would get to another move here, so I throw the Weather Ball to knock them out. And at this point, it is really all up to Swampert. Usually with Venusaur, like I said, it could be Dark types, but it could also be Steel types. In this case, Steel type, which is really good. They allow me to get some energy. I bring in a Venusaur here, and I get to the Hydro Cannon, which is huge. They have some energy on Venusaur, so they'll be able to throw a move here. But I just gotta hope they cannot get to another one before shooting this up. Gonna farm down. We farm down the Venusaur. Can I get to the Earthquake before the Stunfisk gets to a move? I can. This was a CMP tie. This Earthquake should knock out the Stunfisk. And it does. And that is how you beat a Venusaur lead. That's also why I'm running Earthquake on Swampert, by the way. Azumarill is not that common anymore. Well, as I say that, we see an Azumarill in the lead, and we saw an Azumarill in the previous game. That's a bit of a coincidence. Azumarill is not as common as it used to be, so I don't think Sludge Wave is that important anymore. And Earthquake comes in handy versus Registeel versus Stunfisk a lot of the time. But honestly, if you prefer Sludge Wave, that could still be the way to go as well. Anyway, next game, Azumarill lead. Definitely not ideal. This is also a bit of a core breaker to Alolan Ninetales and Swampert. Like, there are more Pokemon that do like decent versus both. We're gonna see more later on in the video as well. But nothing is as good as Venusaur or a Ferrothorn, of course, versus the core. So the Azumarill is very fine to deal with. You just take the first move, throw a Side Shock here, and now I probably let this go and try to farm down with Sableye. Usually Azumarill leads are quite weak to Sableye in the back. So if you're very safe here, just losing switch, bringing in my Sableye versus theirs, and now I just gotta hope it is Azumarill double ghost. If it's a Marowak in the back, we're looking very, very good here. Alright, the shield up that first move, that's fine with me. I'm gonna go with another one right here. I win CMP, which is very good to know for maybe the next move, but right now they let that go. They're in the red. I'm expecting a load of Marowak in the back. I'll let this go. We're gonna let Swampert sweep. Gonna let the next one go as well. Don't need it anymore. At this point, I am feeling very confident in my Swampert. If it's Trevenant, that's a little more of an issue, but Shadow Swampert actually beats Trevenant when you are a shield up, since 2 Hydro Cannons knock him out. That is the main benefit of Shadow Swampert over regular Swampert. In comes the Trevenant again. I just gotta survive these Shadow Claws now. If I can survive these Shadow Claws and get the 3 Hydro Cannons, I should be fine and no shoot the first. That's okay. Gonna go for another one. And not even throw the Seed Bomb, which is honestly a mistake, but I don't think it mattered. I'm still outside of range where a single Shadow Claw knocks out. So I just get these Hydras off back to back, and this should knock out the Grass type right here. 1 Hydro Cannon gets shielded. Next Hydro Cannon should knock out the tree, right? Yes, that is a GG. That's the main benefit of Shadow Swampert right there. Regular Swampert can still work though, especially versus like Azumarill. It does much better. I think versus Deoxys it's a little better. Versus Nidoqueen, it helps. But versus Tree, the Shadow is very nice. Anyway, we had a Registeel lead here, which is quite devastating. You just want to go into Sableye. Always just no shield the Zap Cannon there. It's always a bit of a tough decision. On the one hand, I want to shield that because it does so much damage. But on the other hand, I'm going to be debuffed after that matchup anyway. My Sableye is almost useless. So I usually just let it go. They bring in their Sableye. Unfortunately, I lose switch advantage. It's kind of inevitable when you face a Registeel lead, but some teams just aren't prepared for Swampert, and it is what I'm hoping for here. I'm hoping for like an Azumarill on the back maybe, or maybe I don't even know, a weak Pokemon, a Pidgey, for my Swampert to deal with. But you're gonna see, it's not gonna be great. Honestly, most of the time, but Registeel is like Trevenant, which would be quite bad at this point, and this is even worse. It's Altaria, which I just cannot beat. But they did let me throw a Hydro Cannon on their Registeel, which means my switch timer is coming up. If I can throw enough Hydro Cannons to burn the timer so my switch timer comes up and I can save my Swampert for the Registeel, I might be in a decent spot there. Gonna throw another Hydro Cannon, but my switch timer barely isn't up and my Swampert goes down. My opponent also played this very, very smartly because they farmed me all the way down and didn't throw their move. If they had thrown one Sky Attack right there, I think I would have won, because that would have allowed the switch timer to come up before they Dragon Breath me down. So my opponent definitely hard countered me there, but they also played it quite nicely, so GG. Next match, we got a very bad lead with an Alolan Marowak, and I bring in my Sableye, I bring in their Diggersby. This is not looking too good. I really want to grab switch advantage here, but Sableye unfortunately just cannot do that. I go for the return since they never shield, but they did shield. So that is not great. I probably should have just gone straight foul play. It's a safer move, and all I really need to do here is bring it in like Weather Ball range. But I failed to do that. So yeah, we're not looking too good. A9 should be able to take care of this Diggersby still, but it will take a couple Fire Punches, which is definitely not ideal. 1 Fire Punch coming through here. Gonna throw the Weather Ball here of the 3 charms. This will put a decent dent into the Diggersby. They're definitely gonna reach another Fire Punch though. But my opponent is committing to the Earthquake, but they do not reach it. That is pretty good for me. Gonna bring in my Swampert here. They bring in the Azu, and well, I'm not running Sludge Wave, so this is slightly less ideal for me, but Earthquake, Swampert still puts in the work versus Azumarill. Gonna go for a straight Earthquake here, and they shielded up unfortunately, but that is okay with me. I have 2 shields, I can get to another Earthquake easily, and then I just really have to hope the Hydro Cannon afterwards can knock out, and that I have enough energy to knock out the Alolan Marowak as well. Gonna go for the Earthquake right here. This does a very good chunk to their Azumarill. They get to another move, right? Maybe I should have thrown right there. I wasn't confident it would knock out quite yet. I'm still getting used to Shadow Swampert a bit. I never really used to like running Swampert, so I never really did. So I'm still getting used to the damage ranges, so I played it a bit safe, just over farm there. Have 2 Hydros loaded now. Throw 1 on the AWAC, and I would throw 1 on the Azu. It would knock out, and they know, so they concede the match. GG. Alright, Deoxys defense. Actually a very annoying lead for me, since a lot of time with the Deoxys defense, it's like an Umbreon in the back, it's like a Warren in the back, and both aren't great for my back line. So I really gotta switch out here, which I do. I switch in my Sableye, in comes Registeel at this point. Also not ideal, since I prefer my Swampert on this, but still kind of fine, since my Alolan Ninetales does avoid it. That's pretty good. And I'll be able to get to 1 foul play before they throw their Zap Cannon, and I'm close to another one as well. Pretty sure I get to 2 foul plays before their second Zap Cannon, so I should be able to grab switch advantage here, which is okay, but I'd honestly prefer it if they shielded the second foul play. If they shield the second foul play, that is ideal for me. I overfarm there, allow them to do more damage with lock-on, so that if they do let this go, the next Pokemon gets less farm. I'm just kind of worried about Deoxys farm down there, but they actually come in Walrein, and I decided to switch out. I really didn't want this Walrein to fully farm down my Sableye, so bring in my A9, and I just want to get shields here. They throw a move right here, and I think they're basically at another Icicle Spear, but I'm going to shield anyway. I want to get off this move. I want to get shields down. Throw another Icicle Spear. I'm expecting that after I shield this, they're going to come in Deoxys and start to Psycho Boost me. So I actually go for the Weather Ball instantly, and they did bring in the Deoxys. Fortunately, they didn't throw their move though, which means they're now able to farm me down. It's not ideal, but I do get the shield, which is nice. Now I come in Swampert probably, and I just gotta hope I can like farm this down or something. Or just get off a bunch of energy. I even try to catch on Sableye, but that's not possible. I think 2 Psycho Boost knockout, and if they don't, I'm just gonna get countered down. So this is not looking good. 1 Psycho Boost does a ton of damage. Their tech has fallen though, so this might not knock out, and it doesn't. Now we farm this down right before they get to another. Can I get to the Earthquake first? The Walrein, I do reach it, and this definitely knocks it out. I think this would have been a little less close if I was running a non-Shadow Swampert, but Shadow Swampert still able to survive both Psycho Boosts right there. Very good. I'm running a very high ranked one as well, by the way. Like, I think it's ranked 50-ish, so pretty good. If you don't have that, maybe regular Swampert is the way to go. Anyway, another Deoxys lead. I play it out similarly. Take a Thunderbolt, save the energy, switch into my Sableye. In comes a Walrein. Can definitely do a bunch of damage here, and my Swampert avoids it, which is all I really ask for. If I can take a shield here, that would definitely be ideal. I want shields down for Swampert to really shine, and since I already have foul play here, that should be possible. But after this, the Walrein might be able to farm me down. They're gonna shoot that up. That's fine with me, but we're actually gonna simultaneously... Actually, I think they would have survived one Shadow Claw. So I feel like this is a bit of a misthrow by my opponent. But I'll take that. I will gladly take that. In comes the DD again. Gonna throw this Weather Ball. I don't think this knocks out, but we'll put him quite close. Who doesn't knock out? Will I shoot up this move? I do shoot up this move, expecting something like an Umbreon in the back. But honestly, maybe I should have kept shield. Yeah, Licky Tongue is very common here. Honestly, I should have kept shield advantage for Swampert. I did 2 charms there before switching out, so the 2 Hydro Cannons knocks out, but what that also allows them to do is get to Body Slam plus Power Whip before my 3 Hydros. So yeah, this is a bit of a mistake, and then I don't even throw here, which is an even bigger mistake. I should have. I didn't think about Power Whip yet. I thought we would have like CMP tied on Power Whip. That was my play, but it didn't work out. I think if I just threw there, I would have taken a shield, and then I could have Weather Balled. So, huge mistake. Cost me the game, but it is what it is. GG. Alolan Ninetales Mirror Lead. How you play this out really depends on your Alolan Ninetales IVs. Mine is very high stat product, low attack. So what I usually do is just not throw my move, shoot up there first one, sneak through the charm, and now I should be able to farm them down before they farm me down. I could even consider switching out to Sableye or Swampert before that final charm, just to Shadow Claw or Mitchell them down. So I take 1 less charm damage on Alolan Ninetales, so I might be able to charm something down later if it's just like a dark type in the back, which sometimes there's Umbreon with Alolan Ninetales, so that will be quite useful, but in this case it's fine as well. I end up with 2 Weather Balls, which I throw into the Drapion. There are 2 Poison Stings, which means they're now at 6, which means I need 4 more for the crunch. So I'm gonna end up throwing 3 more Mudshot there, wait a turn, and then I want to throw the Hydro, but they actually have Aqua Tail, which makes me have to shield here. Very unfortunately. Aqua Tail is 1 less sting, gonna overfarm even more here, gonna throw the Hydro. Now I have no clue what to expect in the back, but hopefully my Swampert and Sableye can deal with it. In comes their Swampert, and I go for the Earthquake, which is honestly a big mistake. Like I said earlier, I'm still kind of learning Swampert. I thought they would Mudshot me down, but you're gonna see later, throwing that Earthquake is what cost me the game. gonna go for the foul play here. Won't knock them out, unfortunately, and they're able to get to their Earthquake here. Shadow Swampert Earthquake, just one-shots. Sableye, bye-bye, and now, if I had just thrown a Hydro, I would have gone on to a Hydro here, but instead, we simultaneous KO. GG's. Alright, Sableye lead is very good, but in comes a Swampert, which is a very awkward matchup for me at this point. I also never know how to play this out. Honestly, what I would suggest you do is just throw the Weather Ball right here, but another option is what I'm gonna do here, is just farm down. I'm pretty sure they cannot get to the Earthquake, so this should only be a Hydro. Problem is though, this puts me so low and I haven't taken a shield yet, so definitely not ideal. My Alolan Ninetales is basically useless at this point. Even against the Sableye, I won't be able to knock it out. Here comes a Registeel now, which is not ideal for the Sableye. I switched into it, kind of hoping they switch out into their own Sableye right now, but of course they're not gonna before they throw a big zap. So this Sableye is still going to be trouble, but luckily I still have Swampert and should still be able to do some work against Sableye too. Gonna throw another foul play here, put him into a range where I might be able to farm down with Swampert later. That's probably not this. Probably gonna get to a move, but that's okay. Gonna let Sableye go down and just bring in Swampert here. Bring in Swampert, I bring in Sableye instantly. This is fine with me. Just gonna go straight Hydro. Hydro doesn't knock him out, but if they let it go, I can charm down with Ninetales, so they definitely should shield here. One Hydro, two Hydro, win the CMP tire. You win CMP versus XL Sableye, but you will lose if they're high enough attack or non-XL Sableye. Definitely gotta shield this, because on Ninetales, your shield's gonna be useless. Well, the shield's not gonna be useless, but probably not gonna throw. So we go for the Weather Ball here. If they want to get rid of my Ninetales, they have to throw a move, or I get to another Weather Ball, which should knock out the Sableye. Oh man, just barely get to it. This will knock out the Sableye, and the Registeel is basically energy dried. We'll get some farm off of my Ninetales, which is not ideal, but I should still be able to reach the Hydro Cannon before they reach the Blast. GG right there. So it was a very good lead for me, but my opponent still made it very close with that Swampert save switch they used. Was kind of awkward for my squad. Alright, Alolan Ninetales mirror lead. Gonna play it out the same way as I did earlier. Gonna shield up their move and just keep charming. Shield this up. Again, if you have like a high attack Alolan Ninetales, you might want to consider just throwing your Psyshock if you're confident you're gonna win CMP. Comes that Vigoroth now, which is kind of an awkward switch in for me. I don't really have a hard counter for this. Sableye does okay, but you do double resist it with your Shadow Claws, and the Bulldozers really add up, so definitely not ideal. So I double Weather Ball this, bring it into a range where my Sableye can hopefully farm down. I will take this Bulldoze. Luckily it doesn't do that much, so I don't really have to shield, but it will put me in an uncomfortable health range, especially after this Body Slam. This is just a Body Slam, not even close to a Bulldoze energy, so I safely let it go. Farm down. I'm still outside of one charm range, and I'm one Shadow Claw away from double foul play. So I'm just gonna throw one Shadow Claw here actually, since I don't expect them to throw. Well, actually they don't have energy, so they can't have a move. Just throw this. They shield. So throwing that extra Shadow Claw here actually made a huge difference, because that allows me to knock out the Alolan Ninetales right here. They have a Diggersby in the back, and at this point, this is looking pretty good, or so I thought. I thought Swampert would be able to survive an Earthquake here. So I shield this up, expecting the Fire Punch bait. Really expecting the Fire Punch bait, but I thought I would still be fine. Alright, I would still be fine. But, well, Diggersby turns out to be quite a monster. I go for the Hydro here. They will reach the Earthquake before my next one. Hopefully I survive and get to my Hydro. But, yeah, no, I don't. Now I have to charm down with Ninetales, but they're close to a Fire Punch. They need like 3 or 4 more. So I throw 2 charms, try to catch it. It doesn't happen, and yeah, they Fire Punch me now. GG. Diggersby is just way too strong. That's a game where regular Swampert might have been a bit better, because that would have survived the Earthquake. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it learned you something. See you on the next one. Good luck, your battle trainers.